Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be making this beautiful American Girl doll blanket for her bed. So you'll measure it a little bit bigger than the space you're putting it on, about an inch bigger on each side. I'm using the Pioneer Woman acrylic yarn. So for the blanket, I actually used the red variegated yarn. This time I decided to use teal, really because I'm making a mini version of this blanket for you since I've already made it. We're going to be using an H hook as recommended on the yarn. It is a lightweight yarn, which is a 3. First, we're going to go ahead and make a slip knot, and then you're going to chain. I chained enough to make a 11 inches long, and so again, you're just going to do about an inch longer than what the width is that you're putting this on. So I did, again, a short version just to show you how I actually made this blanket. You're going to want to do your chain stitches in an even amount for this pattern. So I have an even amount of chain stitches here. Go ahead and we're going to single crochet into the second chain. I'm going to single crochet into the back bump just to keep my edges nice and even. So single crochet all the way down. And again, I'm just showing you how we're going to single crochet into that back bump. You will now have an odd number of stitches, and to make the seed stitch, we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn our work. I'm not actually chaining anything. I'm just going to turn my work and make sure to crochet that tail in. Our first stitch is going to be a single crochet. Our next stitch is going to be a double crochet, and I'm going to use my stitch marker. So next stitch, double crochet, and you're just going to alternate single crochet, double crochet all along this row until you get to the very end, and then I'll show you how we're going to turn our work. Your second to last stitch should have been a double crochet, and we are going to be single crocheting into the very last stitch before we turn our work. When we turn our work, we're not going to chain one. I'm just going to turn, pull my loop up a little bit longer, and then go ahead and single crochet into that first stitch. Now again, we're going to single crochet and double crochet along this whole entire row. You'll single crochet on the singles and double crochet on the doubles. It's just the same exact pattern. I did this until my blanket was about 18 inches long as the bed that I'm putting it on. And you just keep going. It's a nice simple project. I really like the seed stitch, and I'll see you back when it's time to finish up the end of the blanket. Alright, so the seed stitch has been finished, and now it is time to go ahead and I'm going to do my last row, which is going to be all single crochets. So I'm putting a single crochet into this last stitch of the seed stitch row, and then I made sure that when I turn my work, I'm actually on the front where I started of the blanket, and I'm just going to single crochet all the way down. When you get to your last stitch of the single crochet row, we actually need to do a corner because we're going to actually put an edge around our blanket here. So I'm going to do my last stitch, which is just counting as 1 stitch. Then I'm going to do 3 more single crochets to make the corner. And this is the only corner I'm going to do this on. Every other corner will just have 3 single crochets. So this one again will have a total of 4 single crochets. Then we're going to single crochet in each row along the edges. Now the edges, they look a little bit different because they don't have single crochets. So just kind of look at where you're putting your stitches and just try to make them as even as possible. Last single crochet on that side, and then the next single crochet is actually going to be a corner, so I'm going to do 3 single crochets in that corner. We're going to single crochet along this edge, which should be a lot easier because there's single crochets right there on the top. They're just a little bit harder to push through. I crochet a little bit tight, so sometimes it's hard to get my hook through those single crochets. But just keep going until you get to the next corner where you'll put 3 single crochets till you get around to the first, well, it was the first single crochet made of this round. So there's our stitch marker. And this is actually where I'm going to start the edging for the blanket. So here we're going to be doing slip stitches. And we're going to slip stitch all the way around until it's time to tie off this blanket. Try to keep your slip stitches a little loose, but even if they are a little tight, you can always stretch your blanket out a little bit. So then I'll just show you quickly here how I tied it off. Sometimes I forget to do how to do an invisible join. So this was my attempt at that. I'm pretty sure I did it incorrectly, but it worked well for what I needed. And now your blanket should be finished, again on a much larger scale, but this project isn't too bad once you have the stitches. So I hope you enjoy your blanket that you've made. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you would like to see more videos like this, please like below and subscribe. And thanks again for watching. I really enjoyed this project. And I will end up making a rug out of the teal yarn that I got. Join me next time.